Now we will start with inner join. From the name itself, you can understand it's if there is any inner connection between the table, it's going to return those. So let me give you a proper example for that. The inner joins helps to select the matching records from the both table. Yes, the example I was giving before. So if you have the customer in your customer table and if you have the customer in your account table, right, which are the customer is already present in your customer table, then only it's going to give you the records, right? So basically it will help you to return whatever the customer you have in your account. So if your customer have account in your apps or in your bank, then only it's going to return the customers. If that particular customer does not have the account in your like apps or in your bank, then this customers will not be returned by the query. So now we will go to MySQL Workbench and we will have a look at how this inner join concepts works. But if you look at the image, you can see that it will only take the common from A and B. So if A is your table and B is your another table, it will take the common from both of them, right? So let's go to MySQL Workbench and let's have a look at how it's gonna work. Before that, we are going to make our tables with the key concepts to understand this as well. So let's go. Now I am going to make a new table over here and I am going to start my SQL joins concept. So I will start with a table. So I have already written that table code because it's gonna take a lot time. So yeah, let me just copy this part and I will explain each and every line I have over here in the table, right? Control C and yes, I'm going to write. So it's quite similar with the previous table we have worked on. This table name is customer over here right now, and we have customer ID, we have if name, the first name, middle name, last name, we have CT, and then we have mobile number, occupation, and DOB, that is date of birth, but we don't have age. Here I know you guys have a question, why this constraint and what this is going on, right? So basically this constraint is you are going to say, okay, my table has a constraint and that constraint is basically a primary key. So in that case, if you want to write that, if you don't want to write primary key that directly we did before, so in that time you need to write constraint, then you need to give a name of that constraint. My case, customer cust ID PK, right? That is primary key. And then I am going to write that primary key, okay? And in the bracket, I am going to write which attribute, right? Which column I need to make as a primary key. So my case, this is customer ID, okay? So this is how we actually, in a professional way, we declare our constraints or the key for that particular table. Now I am going to use one more table called account. The same example I have given, right? Now I am going to just copy this because it's gonna take a lot time to write this. Yes, okay. So here I am going to write them. Just okay. So what I have in my account table and how can I create that account table, right? The same syntax we have, that create. Then what you want to create? I want to create a table. Create table, and what is your table name? My table name is account, right? And then I said, okay, in my account table, there will be some attributes I want to be added. What are those attributes? I want account number, that is SE number. And the type of that attribute is varchar. And the length of that attribute is 6. Then I have a customer ID. If you can remember, we also have an attribute in customer table, that is customer ID, right? So we have customer ID over here. And that customer ID varchar, the data type of that customer ID is varchar and the length of that is 6. Now we have BID. So this is basically your branch ID, right? And this is also a varchar. The length of that varchar is 6. Now I am going to check what is my opening balance. From that you can understand this is a bank table, like bank account, right? Yes. So bank account, in that opening, what is your opening balance? When we are going to open our account, we need to give some value, right? We need to give some rupees. So in that case, I am going to write opening balance. So what is that opening balance type? Will be integer. And that will be 7 digit, not more than that. Okay. And then we have AOD date, account opening date, right? And what type is it? It is a data type. Data type is date. Then we have a type of account, savings account. It can be some other options, right? So in that case, A type, and this is also a varchar. And the length of that varchar is 10. Now we have a status, that account status. This account is active account or the account is closed account. So this active account is also varchar, the data type, and the length is 10. Now comes the constraint part. Here we need to use two constraints. But wait, why do we need to use two constraints? Because one is your primary key and second one is your foreign key. There comes the foreign key concepts, right? Okay, so we have already talked about what is foreign key. Foreign key is basically that that particular key, like the customer ID, is already a primary key in customer table. Now in this table, this customer ID is not a primary key, but it is an attribute of the account table, right? So in this case, our customer ID can be a foreign key. But wait, why do we need to use a foreign key? Basically, this actually makes the connection between two tables. When we are going to write the query, that time we will understand how this foreign key concepts works, right? So now we need to write constraint and then the constraint name. For my account number will be account number PK. That's a primary key. For that I am using PK. And then we have written primary key and which attribute you want to make a primary key, right? So my case is account number. Okay. Then I am going to actually write my foreign key concept. So in that case, I am going to write, okay. So in this case, my constraint name, I have given account customer ID FK, right? So we are not going to use this constraint name anywhere, but yeah, it's a way of declaring the constraint in the table. Then we have written that foreign key. The key name is foreign key. But which one you want to make a foreign key? Obviously the customer ID, because this customer ID attributes is present in account and as well as customer, right? And for the references, you need to give a reference to your table. Okay, see, this is why I am making this as a customer key. See, references that my customer table has this customer ID as a primary key, right? So this is the actual scenario. How can you start using your key concepts in the table, right? Now let me just execute this part. Let me just create the table. Okay, both the table I can just execute one at a time. Okay, fine. Let me just write this use demo. Okay, let me just do that. Okay, so let me do one thing. This table is not created. I am going to create the account one first. No, you got an error. Why you are getting the error? Because your customer table does not exist in your database, right? If this customer table does not exist, how can you give the references, right? So yes, whenever you are going to write any foreign key or any key concept, be sure you are actually maintaining all the rules, right? Let me just do that. Okay, I'm going to execute this. No. Okay. Oh my god, see what I have done. I have not select all the part. For that it's going to give me the error. Be sure whenever you are working with MySQL, if you have a minor mistakes with your syntax, you will get an error, right? Okay, now my customer table is created. Now I want to create my account table. Yes, my account table is also created. But wait, I want to see what are the table I have in my database. So again, I'm going to use the same command, right? Show what? Tables. Right? Okay. Let me just execute this. Yes, you can see I have the table of account and customer both. Now we need to do one thing. What? Anyone can guess? Yes, we need to actually insert our data. If we don't have data, how can you see what are the records it's going to provide? So I have already written down the data and I'm just going to copy paste it. Okay, fine. So let me just take this all data over here. So yes, I am going to just copy it. Okay, so you can see for customers what values I have. I have C001, almost same, Ramesh Chandra Sharma, and this other thing. Now in the account, what we have, the account number A001, customer ID is C001 and branch ID is B001. Then the opening balance is 1000. The date of opening is this, and this is a savings account. This is active, right? Now let me just execute this part as well. All the values we have. Yes, you can see all the data are already inserted. Now I am going to use a select command for each of them, and I'm going to check this data is inserted or not, right? Let me write select star from where. First one I want to check from customer, right? Customer table. Let me do that. Yes, this is all inserted, you can see, right? Now what I need to do, I am going to check select star from where? From account. Let me just execute that. Okay, so in this case you can see both of the table are full with the data. Now I am going to use a inner join, right? How can I do that? Let me just write it down over there. I need to write select. So what I just want the first name of all the customers who are present in both of the table, right? So I'm going to write select if name, right? Comma, maybe account number as well. So in my case, account number was written as. So here I am going to do the inner join. But what I want to take, I need to take account number, and what else? I need to take the first name, right? So let me check how can we do that using inner join, right? So let's get started. So first I need to write what? I need to write select this because this is like basic command if we want to fetch any data, right? Now what we need to do, we need to write which column or which attribute we want to fetch. For my case, I want to fetch if name, right? And then comma, and if name is from customers and account number is from account, right? So AC number, right? Let me just write down AC number. Now I need to write what? Okay, I have selected two different attributes from two different table. Now I need to write from where. From, I am going to say the first table is my customer table, right? Okay, customer. Now I am going to write what join you are doing. I am doing inner join, right? Inner join. And then this is the syntax when we are going to write inner join. Then we are going to write from customers inner join and which table? That account table, right? I have written account. Okay, now I need to provide which key are going to actually going to merge the table, right? Or not even merge, it's going to help to inner join the table. In this case, now I need to write on, okay? And what? That is customer, right? This is basically taking the table name customer dot cust id, right? If I am not wrong, the cust id was my, yes, cust id, right? Be sure that whatever spelling you are writing, otherwise you will get an error. Is equals to from now which table? From now account table dot and then cust id, right? Let me just execute that. Yes, we got it. So we got Ramesh. Ramesh has 2 account, Avinash has 2 account, Rahul also have 2 account, Chitresh, Amit. But how can you sure that your data, whatever the data you have get, it is right? So we can use count variable and we can check how many data we have in our customer table and how many of data we have in our count table. And let's see what count we get over here, right? So how can we do that? We need to write select count, and maybe you can write star over here. It doesn't care. It will just check all of them from customer, right? A same from select count then maybe star from account, right? Okay, so first one, let me just do that. Okay, so first customer I have for 10, and for account, let me just try. We have 10. Here I need to check this part. Okay, so the same query will be same, but here sorry, I'm going to write if name and okay, so I want to count the if name. Shit, what I have done to write if name from, right? Let me just check. But here also we get 10. Why? We have the repeated value. Maybe for this case we are getting 10 all the time, but if we do it manually, let me just go back to the insert value. Yeah, you can see we have Parul, we have Naveen, we have Chitresh, right? But here we don't get any value called let me just go that. Yeah, we also have Parul, Chitresh. Let me just check it manually. Ramesh we have Avinash. Okay, Amit we have, Nisha we have. You can see we have Nisha. Let me just try that Nisha we have, but we don't have Nisha over here. You can see we got Ramesh. Sorry, we got Ramesh twice, Avinash twice, Rahul twice, right? So in this case, we do not have anything called Nisha. So you can see from that, whatever the data we got, this both of the customers is present is customer table and as well as account table. So this is the concept of inner join, right? So now we will go back to our presentation again and let's have a look at what are the other types of join we have, right? And how can we implement them and how can we use them to sort out data. Okay, so let's go back to the presentation.